Olá, boa tarde a todos. Muito obrigado pela presença de vocês. Nós estamos aqui, temos a honra de estarmos com a Marquette Catholic Schools e a diretora de admission da escola, a Jennifer Killan. Para quem não me conhece ainda, meu nome é Natália Warga. Eu sou a diretora do Departamento Brasil. Eu trabalho da matriz da empresa na cidade de Los Angeles, na Califórnia. Nós contamos hoje com a presença da Roberta Lopes, que é a nossa representante de vendas em São Paulo, com a Liliana Lozano, que é a nossa diretora de marketing no Canadá. Nossa, Liliana, se você gostaria de se apresentar, depois nós vamos passar a palavra para Jennifer. Para vocês saberem, a gente vai hoje fazer a apresentação em inglês, com uma breve tradução no português, e após a Liliana vai passar a apresentação para todo mundo em espanhol.
Gracias, Natalia, por tu bienvenida. Este es un saludo para los agentes que nos acompañan desde Colombia, Perú, a México, Chile y algunos otros países más de habla hispana. Queremos extender una especial bienvenida a este webinar. Muy emocionados de poder conocer todos los detalles de los beneficios que ofrece Marquette. Y por supuesto, estamos muy emocionados porque sabemos que hay algunos cupos disponibles para Spring 2026 todavía. Entonces queremos, por supuesto, para esas últimas familias de último minuto poder ofrecer Marquette. Y estamos entonces.
Thank you, Lilo. Jennifer, thank you so much for taking the time and presenting Marquette for our families, agents in Brazil and South America. If you be kindly introduce yourself and talk us how your involvement in Marquette, and then we can start the presentation.
Sure. Thank you, Natalia, and Liliana, and Roberta. I appreciate this opportunity to share Marquette with all of you. My name is Jennifer Quinlan. I am the Director of Admission here at Marquette. I have been in this position for about 22 years now, and I am also a graduate of Marquette High School. So I have a very close connection with the school. I'd like to say my heart is here. So um, I work very hard to make sure that, all of our students have the best experience possible while they're here with us. I'm very hands-on with our students, with our agents, and their parents. We're always open to that. So thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope this gives you a good perspective on who we are as a school community.
Maybe next slide, please, Lilo.
Okay, so we were founded in 1886, so we have almost 140-year history in our community. We are the only Catholic high school in our county, and we were the first Catholic high school in Northwest Indiana. So we have a very strong and secure history in both Catholic education and in our community. We have a student population of just over 300 students in grades 9 through 12, and we have 30 international students on our campus. And I will say that it's very important to us to maintain that average. We don't want to have too few international students, and we don't want to have too many because we want to make sure that they have both their best high school experience, but also their American high school experience.
Yes, next slide, Lilo, please.
So we are located in Northwest Indiana in Michigan City, right on Lake Michigan, just 1 hour east of the city of Chicago. So you have the safety and security of a small town, which is about 30,000 people, but you have access to everything a big city has to offer. Right behind our campus is a train that the students take. It's about an hour train ride into the city. They usually go probably, I would say, just about every Saturday. They jump on the train and they spend their day downtown Chicago. When the weather is appropriate, we're less than a mile from Lake Michigan, and they walk to the beach and they spend their warm days down there. Um, they do come back after their first visit to the beach and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, it looks just like the ocean." So just to give you an idea of its grand, beautiful scale. It's we are kind of a beach town, so they are able to have um, enjoy their time, at the waterfront. And then we are part of what's called the Uptown Arts District in Michigan City. So just a few blocks away is a nice little town center with shops and restaurants and um, different social events that the kids can take advantage of. So we can go to the next slide. I think that's just more of a photo.
It's a video, no,
Oh, it's a
little?
video? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you click? Então, before the next slide, I'm gonna do a briefly translation in Português and Liliana is gonna do in Spanish. So, a Jennifer, ela, né, dividiu com a gente que ela trabalha na escola como diretora de admission há mais de 22 anos. E não só isso, ela estudou na própria Marquette, então já ela tem, né, aí um relacionamento muito grande com a escola. Tá falando do programa internacional, então a Marquette, né, ela tem uma escola que tem 300 estudantes e eles têm, né, 10% de estudantes internacionais. Como ela disse, então eles têm 30%, 30 alunos, tá, de várias nacionalidades diferentes. A Marquette também, a Jennifer dividiu com a gente que é uma escola católica, né? Então ela contudo, muitos alunos não são católicos, tá? Mas para quem é católico, para quem quer ir na missa, para quem quer ter essa experiência, assim, a escola oferece. Contudo, mesmo os estudantes que não são católicos, né, eles têm que fazer uma aula de religião. Tá? Então, isso é um pouco da Marquette. Falando da localização, né, é uma localização super privilegiada. Nós temos vários estudantes na escola e eles adoram, porque ela está próxima a Chicago, que é uma cidade incrível, né? Com várias opções de lazer, shoppings, museus, entretenimentos. Contudo, no dia a dia, eles estão numa cidade pequena, numa cidade segura, que é Michigan City. Michigan City é uma cidade onde o pessoal de Chicago vai passar as férias, o final de semana. No verão, como ela mencionou, eles estão uma milha do Lake Michigan. Os alunos acabam indo para o Lake Michigan, que lembra muito uma praia. Então, lembra como se fosse uma cidade de praia e próxima também à escola, eles têm um centro com vários shoppings, restaurantes que os estudantes usufruem. Liliana, you want to do a brief
Gracias, Natalia.
translation? Okay.
Y disculpa, se estaba abriendo el micrófono. Bueno, entonces, Marquette fue fundada en el año 1886 y algo muy interesante es que es la primera escuela católica en esta parte de Estados Unidos, en el noreste de Indiana. Tiene alrededor de 300 estudiantes matriculados actualmente, ofreciendo estos grados de high school, grado noveno en adelante, hasta grado 12, y solamente un 10% aproximadamente son estudiantes internacionales que vienen sobre todo de 8 países específicos: Brasil, China, Alemania, Polonia, España, Taiwán, Tailandia y Vietnam. Algo muy importante es que Marquette comenzó a recibir estudiantes internacionales hace unos 25 años, así que cuentan con una amplia experiencia en todo lo que involucra acoger estudiantes internacionales. En cuanto a la ubicación, está ubicado en Michigan City, que es una ciudad que está muy cerca de Chicago. Sin embargo, todo lo que requiere en temas de atracciones turísticas, museos, restaurantes, es una ciudad muy acogedora y que nos ha traído experiencias muy lindas también con los estudiantes que ya hemos traído a Marquette, que es uno de los colegios más pedidos entre W en todos estos años. Seguimos con Jennifer.
Okay. So we are an urban campus. We're located, like I said, less than 1 mile from Lake Michigan. We are part of a neighborhood. So I apologize, I had a distraction. We are part of a neighborhood, so it gives a much more of a community feel. On our campus, we have a church, a student center, our academic building, and then we call the dormitory the mansion because it's actually an old mansion from a railroad family. So it has a lot of charm and character. So yeah, I think we can go to the next slide on that one. So we are, as I said earlier, a Catholic school. We are governed by the Diocese of Gary. Being a Catholic school, does that mean you have to be Catholic to come to Marquette? Does that mean all of our students are Catholic? No. We have, our student population is about 75% Catholic. We go to Mass once a month as a school community. We pray the Rosary together on Wednesday mornings, and we celebrate the sacraments like of reconciliation 3 times a year. As a school. So we are Catholic in our mission, and what we do is always in line with the teachings of the Catholic Church. So dual credits. So a lot of I always get a lot of questions about dual credits and what's the difference between a dual credit and an AP course. And if someone were to ask me, which many do, which do you prefer or which would you recommend? I always would tell you a dual credit. To give an explanation, an AP course is a high school course that is taught by a high school teacher. And at the end of that course, the students take a test. If they score a 4 or a 5 on that test, then they get the college credit. And there's no guarantee that they'll get a 4 or 5 on that test. With a dual credit course or a dual enrollment course, that is a college class, a college course, college material taught in high school by a teacher with their master's degree who has professor status at the higher ed sponsoring partner. So we partner with Purdue University, Indiana University, and Ivy Tech. And those three schools sponsor our dual credits. And right now, we offer about 90 dual credits. And those are taught, like I said, in our school. If a student earns a C or better in that class, they get a college credit, 3 college credits actually per class. So while they're a student here, they are creating a college transcript while they're in high school. Minimally, a student will leave here, they'll graduate from here with at least 1 semester of college completed upon their high school graduation. We have had students that have completed 4 semesters of college before they've even graduated from high school. And these are all classes that our international students can and do take advantage of. We have international students. I just met with all of them last week who are taking 3 dual credits this semester, 3 dual credit classes next semester. So just in 1 year, they'll have accumulated 18 dual credits, which is a semester of college while also completing their high school requirements. Now, we remove and add dual credit classes every semester. So, I can't tell you, firmly, this is what we offer. We change that up based on what our students are interested in and what our higher ed partners are offering us. This is a major time saver for our students and their parents. It is a money saver because there's no additional cost for these courses and they're satisfying college requirements with that. And most importantly, it is a true college prep curriculum because these are college courses taught in high school with the support of a high school teacher. Something that kids don't realize is that, when they go to college, they're not going to have the one-on-one support of a college professor that they're going to get with their high school teacher. So our teachers spend quite a bit of time with our students, supporting them and giving them any additional help that they might need with these dual credit classes. And that is one of the reasons why we require all of our teachers to hold their master's degrees because they have to have that degree in order to teach a dual credit class. Whereas an AP class, anyone can teach it. So there's a big difference there that a lot of people don't understand that I work very hard to make sure that they do. Because so many people just hear AP, 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 whereas dual credit is where it's at.
Jennifer,
So,
I have a quick question before we
yes.
moving on. Thank you. That was an excellent explanation. Um, all those dual credit classes are taught in person
Oh,
or,
yes.
or online. They're in
They're
Marquette,
they're
they are in
they are
person.
taught in person.
Okay.
Our teachers have what's called adjunct professor status at those at our partners, at our higher ed partners. So at Purdue, IU, and Ivy Tech, they are trained they are trained by and monitored by those partners. So those, they have like a sponsoring teacher let's say like at Purdue, that every semester they'll come and observe them. They review the curriculum. They make sure that, that they're on the standard of that university. So, like I said previously, that is why our teachers have to have their master's degree because we want all of them to be able to teach dual credit classes.
Thank you.
But
Excellent.
that's really that is such a big piece of a college prep curriculum because, they're not going to get the intimacy in college that they're going to get in high school with these classes, but they still have to meet the same standard as a college student would.
Thank you.
Mhm. So, a lot of schools call their English language learning program an ESL or English as a second language. Ours is ENL, which is English as a new language, because truly that's what we are trying to teach these students, that this is a new language for them. So, our focus, is, the day to day and what they need to know to get through their day as an English speaking person, but we're also dealing with the academic side of language learning. So, one of our main focuses with their language learning is their academic vocabulary. So they're going to get the support of from their ENL teacher in all of their other classes as it relates to their schedule and their academics and their academic vocabulary. So they will be given a list. Let's say they take biology, they're going to be given a list of all of their biology vocabulary for the semester. So they're going to have a bank of vocabulary words that they can rely on. We do allow and provide them with a pen translator that they can use with their homework and in their classes, that kind of scans the word and it shows on the pen, a translation in their language. We found that that's just a very nice support for them. And also there's tools for them on their iPad that will help them with translation, will support their translation. It's not going to do it for them. But within ENL, it's also TOEFL test prep, SAT prep, ACT prep, because if a student is planning on graduating from Marquette, there is a minimum SAT score that is required by the state of Indiana for them to be able to graduate. So we found that the SAT test prep is a very important piece of our ENL for them. But that class also works with the kids and helps them integrate into the day-to-day of an American high school. They kind of, the teacher kind of works with them to explain, their prom, their dances, you know, updates them on the calendar, what's a dress down day, what's, all the different things of a traditional, American high school student would just already know. Um, she kind of introduces the culture of the American high school to them as well, so that they can feel part of everything.
Thank you, Jennifer. A lot to cover.
Okay, okay.
Yes, wonderful.
I'm going to
Okay,
go on
so
mute.
não, that's wonderful. Então a Jennifer dividiu com a gente, né, um pouco da localização, que é uma localização de novo residencial. Eu acabei já falando um pouquinho da parte da escola, né, ela sendo uma escola católica, né, então ela mencionou aí que 75% dos estudantes são católicos, mas não é exigido que os estudantes sejam católicos para estar no Marquette. A escola tem uma missa juntas uma vez por mês, né, e ela mencionou, assim, o que é muito importante para os estudantes é a parte do dual credit. E ela fez uma excelente explicação aqui para todo mundo sobre a diferença principal entre as aulas APs, que são Advanced Placements, para as aulas de crédito duplo. Tá? As aulas APs são aulas, né? dadas pelos professores de high school, e eles têm que fazer um teste no final do ano. Se eles passarem no teste, tiverem a nota pontuação 4 ou 5, eles ganham esse crédito na universidade. Então, não é uma garantia, eles têm que, né, primeiro ter essa nota. Já o crédito duplo são matérias realmente universitárias, conteúdos, né, universitários ensinados para os professores ensinarem, eles têm que ter mestrados, eles são treinados pelas parcerias que eles têm, que é a Purdue University, Indiana University, e eles terminando, concluindo essas classes, ele já é válido como crédito para a universidade. A escola oferece, ela mencionou aqui já, não é nem 81, são 90 aulas. Eu fiz a pergunta se todas são presenciais e ela falou que sim. Tá? Então, ela falou que quase todos os estudantes da Marquette saem da escola já com um semestre de universidade. Então, é uma grande economia para os pais, abre muita porta para os estudantes nas entradas para a universidade. Então, só passando aqui um highlight de tudo que ela explicou. E aí ela mencionou também sobre o ENL, que não é mais o inglês como segunda língua, mas o inglês como uma nova língua, todo o suporte que a escola dá para os estudantes, né? Então, não só como na língua, como os professores olham as matérias que os estudantes estão fazendo, é muito foco no vocabulário, né? Ela citou um exemplo que seu estudante faz aula de biologia, eles vão focar muito no vocabulário de biologia. Eles têm também uma assistência que os estudantes, se tiver necessidade de usar uma caneta que faz a tradução, tá? Para os estudantes se formarem na Marquette, eles têm que ter uma pontuação mínima, tanto no TOEFL como o SAT. É um requerimento não só da escola, mas como do estado de Indiana. Tá? E uma coisa muito interessante que ela passou também é que os professores dessas matérias não só ajudam muito com o inglês, com a gramática, o vocabulário, mas com a cultura do high school, né? Ou para os estudantes, o que que é um dia onde você pode, vestir, não precisa usar uniforme, o que que eles podem se complementar, o que que é o prom. Então, os estudantes, os professores ajudam muito os estudantes com a cultura do high school. Então, esse é um breve preview do que a Jennifer falou em português. Agora eu vou passar para a Liliana fazer em espanhol.
Gracias, Natalia. Bueno, entonces, de la primera parte, en cuanto a la ubicación, solo nos restaba decir que está muy cerca del lago Michigan, a menos de una milla, que es importante mencionarlo, es una atracción turística en la zona. En cuanto a la orientación religiosa, nos explicaba Jennifer que el 70% de la población es de orientación católica. Son abiertos, por supuesto, a recibir estudiantes con otras fes, no hay ningún impedimento, y tienen una misa una vez al mes. Algo muy importante que mencionó Jennifer son todas las ofertas en cuanto a los créditos que son de doble titulación. Ellos tienen un convenio muy interesante con algunas universidades e institutos en el estado de Indiana que les permite a los estudiantes, mientras están tomando estos cursos de high school, poder luego, al final del año, presentar un examen donde si ellos obtienen una evaluación de 4 o 5, van a poder recibir el crédito para que sea parte de su primer semestre universitario, que es algo muy, muy interesante. Tienen alrededor de 81 créditos universitarios. El perfil de los docentes con los que cuenta Marquette son todos con educación en maestría, precisamente aptos para poder dictar y enseñar en este nivel universitario. Y en cuanto al inglés, ellos tienen un programa que se llama INL, como inglés como nueva lengua, donde hay un acompañamiento muy cercano con los estudiantes en cuanto al aprendizaje del idioma, en vocabulario, gramática, el aula, pero además preparan a los estudiantes para exámenes internacionales como el TOEFL, el SAT, con unos puntajes que son mínimos en el estado de Indiana, que les va a permitir acceder posteriormente a la universidad. Continuamos con Jennifer.
Jennifer,
Okay, I'm back.
showtime.
So we offer 3 different programs for our students. You can come for a short term in the fall or the spring. I believe it's about, you could come for 4 weeks, 6 weeks. it's kind of a choose your own adventure, I would say. Um, and in this situation, it would be more of a cultural experience and a linguistic one, I would say. Um, coming, you would be able to take classes, but you would not earn any credits. You wouldn't have a transcript. We also offer a full semester, which is academic, cultural, linguistic. You would have a transcript, you would have a full schedule, and have all the, the full experience of a semester. Or you can come for a full year, um, which is two full semesters. You'd have a complete transcript. And have a cultural, linguistic, and academic experience here on campus. Which I spoke Portuguese. So I would say, in order for students to have the best experience possible, the most important thing is for them to get involved. So last semester in the spring, I asked a student, an international student, what would be the best advice you could give someone thinking about, coming to Marquette or just, studying abroad in general. And her response was, say yes to everything. So if you're asked to do something, say yes. If you're invited somewhere, say yes. Get involved and say yes. So we do our best to encourage our students to get involved in clubs, activities. Um, go to Chicago on the weekends when we have planned activities for the house. Attend, make friends outside of the mansion, make local friends. Um, that's, so important. We offer sports and clubs and community service and, different activities within the house. Like just Saturday, we did gingerbread house decorating. And, the weekend before we went skiing. So, and we always invite, local kids to come too. So it's important, outside of school, outside of the classroom, for the kids to get involved and be part of things and expand their social circle. Next. So this is the dorm, which is, like I said, we call it the mansion. Um, we have two houses. The house in front, which is the one you see, we call that one the mansion. And then there's a coach house in the back. Surprisingly, the coach house holds more students than the big house, but the front house, the mansion, has all the common areas. You'll see in the second photo in the middle, that's the dining room. The third photo is a typical, bedroom, and the same and the bottom, there's the bathroom there, bedroom. There's in this particular room, there's a porch off of one of the rooms. And each room in the front house, um, and the number of students honestly depends on the number of students in the room depends on what room you have. So in the mansion, there are 5 bedrooms. Some can have 2 students in them, some can have 3, and one can have 4. And we do our best to give the students what they want, but room assignments are random. There's no method to that madness. We just, place them as they come. And the boys live in the front house right now, and the girls live in the back. And the back house is each room, it's a suite of 2 rooms. So there's 2 bedrooms, and those 2 bedrooms share a bathroom. Same with the front house. Some rooms can have, 2, 3, 4. One room can actually have 6 students in it because one room is humongous and another room is a little smaller. That humongous room can have 4. So it's all really, it varies. The house was built in the late 1800s, and it was owned by a family that owned the railroad. And after they, moved on, it was purchased and was a bed and breakfast. And then about 15 years ago, we bought it and converted it to a dormitory for our students. And it's an old house, and it's got a lot of cricks and issues, but we manage them as they come. And I think for the most part, you know, I would say they prefer to live somewhere that feels like a home rather than somewhere that feels like a dormitory. Um, and that's how that's the vibe or the culture that we like to create in the house, that we are a family, and we treat each other as such. Um, Kindness is our number one priority in the house, and we do our best to maintain that. But the mansion is just one, two, three houses down from our academic building. So the kids walk to school. Like, just one student popped in my office and she's like, I gotta run home for a minute. I said, no problem. So she just ran home, came back. So it's very easy. To the next one.
Maybe we
Okay.
stop
You
briefly.
want to translate? Okay.
Yes, really. So a Jennifer mencionou um pouquinho dos programas que a Marquette oferece, né? Então, ela oferece o programa de curta duração, que a gente chama de Short Term High School Experience. Então, é a oportunidade do estudante fazer 4, 8 ou 12 semanas. Tá? Ela pode fazer tanto em janeiro quanto no fall, tá? Esse é mais um programa de experiência de high school, tá? É a imersão completa no high school. Contudo, os estudantes não recebem crédito, tá? Então, essa é a experiência. Onde a gente chama de um test drive, às vezes. O estudante faz, se apaixona e acaba estendendo para o semestre e ano. Semestre e ano são os high schools, né? Que o estudante recebe crédito, né? Então, a 3W, junto com a Marquette, a gente faz o apostilamento do transcript para continuar os estudos no Brasil. Ela falou também bastante do programa em si dos estudantes, né? O segredo do programa é a palavra participação, né? E a gente tem, como os estudantes falam, então toda vez que a escola tiver um passeio, uma atividade, um trabalho voluntário, o segredo é os estudantes participarem. Então a escola oferece muitos clubes, muitos esportes, muitas atividades. Ela mencionou algumas que eles fizeram esses últimos finais de semanas, como semana passada, esse final de semana eles decoraram as casas, né? Os gingerbread house, que faz muito da cultura americana. Num outro final de semana eles foram esquiar. Então, esse o que ela mencionou. Então, eles participarem da parte acadêmica e da parte social da escola. Ela também, a gente falou da acomodação, que é sempre muito importante, né? O dormitório da escola, como ela mencionou, uma mansão histórica reformada, que são duas casas, a casa da frente, onde mostra na foto, e a casa atrás. Então, ela falou muito desse conceito de casa, de família, da importância, né, de todos se tratarem com sempre muito gentis uns com outros. Em relação ao dormitório, ela mencionou que né, eles têm 5 quartos na casa da frente e os quartos podem ser duplo, triplo ou quádruplo, depende do tamanho do quarto. E aí eles têm o banheiro que eles dividem com alguns estudantes. Então, esse é um pouquinho da tradução. Agora a Liliana vai fazer em espanhol.
Ofrece programas de corta duración, tanto para fall, ingresar en septiembre, o spring, para ingresar en enero. Programas de 4, 8 o 12 semanas, donde los estudiantes tienen la experiencia breve de high school con todas sus clases en un colegio de high school en Estados Unidos. Dentro de los objetivos de este programa de corta duración está, por supuesto, el aprendizaje del idioma, la inmersión cultural, la experiencia como tal en la escuela high school. También tienen programas de larga duración, semestre y año, también para cualquiera de esos dos intakes, tanto para septiembre como para enero. Y algo muy importante es que ya con estos programas de larga duración, los estudiantes también reciben todos sus transcripts, sus reportes de notas homologados, apostillados, todo lo que son los créditos y la homologación en sus países de origen. También Jennifer mencionaba la importancia del involucramiento de los estudiantes en diferentes actividades. Marquette es un colegio que promueve muchas actividades, tanto deportivas como culturales. Mencionaba Jennifer la experiencia de la decoración. En cada detalle se ve la importancia de que los estudiantes realmente estén expuestos, que vivan la diferencia de estar en un colegio de high school en Estados Unidos. Y también la acomodación, se nos mencionaba que tienen una casa que está muy cerca de las instalaciones académicas, tienen 5 dormitorios, algunas habitaciones más grandes que otras, pueden tener acomodación doble, triple o cuádruple, pero es muy acogedora en el sentido que al ser una casa con una historia muy bonita, al mismo tiempo ha sido parte de esa experiencia, que ellos puedan vivir en una casa típica americana. Jennifer, we are ready for you.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Oh, where'd I go?
Just in
Okay,
time.
sorry. A student needed me. Um, okay, so I think we can skip this slide because I believe it's issues we've already addressed. Okay, so when I shouldn't say issues, topics we've already addressed. Um, so one of the, when we were talking about getting involved and, being part of things, when a student takes the PSAT, part of the PSAT is an interest survey. And when that information comes back to us, we look at it and we say, okay, what are things that our students would, programming that our students would like for us to have as part of our curriculum. And a few years ago, one of those results was they had an interest in business. So we partnered with a local bank and they helped us convert a room in our building to be a business lab, a trading center. So we utilize a program. It's called Stock Track, and it's mock commodities trading, it's business planning, it's investments. It teaches our students, a business perspective, and we have a club. It's a national, I would say it's an international club. It's called DECA. And don't ask me what it stands for because it doesn't make any sense, so I can never remember it. Um, but it is an organization, school, and it's internationally recognized where kids get together and then they compete with other schools. And they can compete internationally and travel abroad, but it's all about like marketing, investing, product development, um, anything that you can think of that is business related comes from these courses. And I'm telling you, our international students love this. When they learn about this, once they get here, they want to be in on it, and they want to participate. And they bring such a great perspective to what we offer in our business curriculum, because they bring the international perspective, the economies of their country, they're bringing that into our classroom. So our local students benefit from this, from their perspective just as much as our international students do. But it's really, and freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, any grade level can take these classes. Any grade level can be involved in DECA. And like they just had what's called districts this Saturday. And, a couple of our international students are currently in this. And it's a great program for anyone that jumps on it. Go to the next slide. So sports, we touched on them a little bit earlier, but to get a little bit more specific into them. So some schools, let me start over. So Marquette is sanctioned. So our sports are governed by what's called the Indiana High School Athletic Association. So they establish the rules that we have to follow in terms of the sports we offer, um, who can be on the teams, new students transferring in, and all that sort of, you know, behind the scenes, the business of sports. And when an international student comes to Marquette, they are considered a transfer student. So there is information that we pull from their application to send to the IHSAA so that the students their eligibility to play can be determined. And basically, the IHSAA wants to make sure that we didn't recruit international students to play on our teams so that we can be the strongest team in our conference. Um, so it's important that when our international students are filling out their applications, that there's certain information that we need. Like we need to have a contact at their school that will respond to an email from the IHSAA. And this is all things that we can, work out together. But to give you an idea, we offer tennis and soccer and cross country and track and basketball and baseball and softball and lacrosse and I think I got everything. We do not have an American football team, but there's plenty of schools around that they can go to an American football game. But we are in Indiana and basketball's big in Indiana. So yeah, I think our international students, once we get all their eligibility straightened out, they do enjoy being on our athletic teams, I will say. So activities, those are things that, we plan as, a mansion family. They go to the beach whenever they can. We go to a water park in August and September when it's still warm. There's kayaking. We go to Great America, which is an amusement park. Chicago, every Saturday, just about. We try to get as many college visits in as we can. We have several universities close by, like the University of Notre Dame, Valparaiso University, and there's many, many in Chicago, that we try to get the kids to. But they'll definitely see at least one college or university if they're here for a semester. And then skiing, we got a ton of snow very early, so we were able to get a ski trip in before Christmas. But we'll definitely go again because I don't think this snow is going anywhere. So we will definitely go again, second semester. But there's a couple of ski resorts that are like 90 minutes away, and they had a good time. They had a very good time. So we try to plan things, but if I'll just be very honest, if the kids don't sign up, then, you know, we can't have them. So we offer them, but sometimes they say, oh, we don't want to. And that's okay too. Um, but they're always there for the taking. And then we already talked about clubs, but just to, National Honor Society, it's an academic and service club. There's drama club. That one's DECA. Service is huge. We partner with different organizations in our community. That photo you're seeing there is Reins of Life. It's an equestrian therapy where it's young people with disabilities, they work with horses. And so our kids go and they get trained at the beginning of the year, and then they go every other week to Reins of Life and work with the horses and the other young people. We have art club, fishing club, engineering club, and ski. But there's several other, more than just this, but this is just an idea of things that the kids can get involved in.
Before we show the video, Liliana, before we show the video, we do a brief translation in Portuguese. So, a Jennifer mencionou que eles fizeram um survey, né, quando eles fazem o preparatório para o SAT, e voltaram que muitos estudantes queriam mais aulas, mais informações na área de negócios, business. Então, a Marquette fez uma parceria com um banco e eles oferecem essa plataforma de Stock Track, onde a escola oferece bastante aulas de finanças, negócios, investimentos, markets em tempo real, né? Então, ela falou que os estudantes internacionais, quando eles descobrem que a escola oferece essas matérias, eles se interessam muito. Tá? Então, ela tem uma grande participação dos estudantes internacionais e ela falou que é super positivo para a escola também, para os estudantes americanos, porque eles trazem uma outra perspectivas, né, de negócios vindo dos países deles. Então, é uma troca também dos estudantes americanos com os internacionais muito grande. Ela também mencionou novamente sobre os esportes, tá? O esporte faz muito parte da cultura americana, a gente recomenda muito, é onde os estudantes internacionais fazem a amizade mais fácil, tá? Contudo, ela mencionou que a Marquette faz parte da Associação de Esportes do Estado de Indiana e eles têm uma série de regras para os estudantes participarem, tá? Então, sempre que um estudante tiver interesse em fazer esporte, sinalizar para 3W, para a gente cuidar junto de toda a documentação necessária antes dos estudantes chegarem nos Estados Unidos, porque quando ele chegar aqui, ele já esteja apto a fazer os esportes, né? Então, a Jennifer mencionou que Indiana é um esporte muito forte no basquete. Então, o basquete é um esporte muito forte na Marquette, então, para o estudante que gosta de participar. E falando das atividades, né? Voltando sempre o que ela falou de participar, então, os estudantes acabam indo para Chicago todo final de semana, quase todo sábado, mas a escola oferece várias atividades. Ela mencionou algumas, como em agosto, eles vão para um parque aquático, eles visitam universidade. Ela mencionou, né, uma das grandes universidades americanas é a Notre Dame, dependendo da época do ano, mas ela falou que esse ano eles já receberam muita neve, então eles já foram esquiar. No segundo semestre eles devem ir de novo. Então, várias atividades que a escola oferece, e ela mencionou também novamente, né, da participação dos clubes, que são de vários assuntos diferenciados, desde o National Honor Society, né, que é um curso, um clube acadêmico. Eles também muito forte em trabalhos voluntários, trabalhos comunitários, como ela mencionou aqui, né, dos estudantes com algumas dificuldades na terapia com animais. Mencionou novamente o DACA, que é o clube de negócios, de marketing, então aí clubes de esqui, então mencionando aí um pouco da vida dos estudantes da Marquette. Liliana,
Ok, bueno, también Jennifer nos contaba acerca de una alianza que tienen con un banco local, quien ha provisto una plataforma que se llama StockTrack, una plataforma bastante robusta en términos de educación financiera y de negocios. Esta iniciativa surgió precisamente a partir de los estudiantes internacionales, quienes llegaban con la expectativa de aprender más de educación financiera, y ha sido un programa completo que se ha desarrollado a partir de esto, donde ellos pueden ver inclusive en tiempo real todo el manejo de la bolsa, lo que pasa en Norteamérica y poder tener un conocimiento global acerca de todo el mundo de los negocios desde una perspectiva mucho más. Bien, en la parte de deportes, ellos tienen deportes puntuales que ofrecen dentro del campus. Hay una regulación específica en Indiana que se encarga precisamente de revisar que todos los deportes cumplan con todos los estándares de seguridad, las instalaciones, acorde a cada deporte para temas de tenis, de fútbol, de béisbol, de golf. Los deportes cambian de acuerdo a cada intake. Hay ciertos deportes en fall, en spring, en invierno tienden a ser más deportes que están indoors, que tienden a estar un poco más en circuitos cerrados deportivos. Se ofrecen muchas actividades a lo largo del año, al igual que clubes donde los estudiantes pueden aprovechar para inscribirse en ciertas actividades como las que vemos en pantalla, en temas de esquí. También tienen una alianza con un centro ecuestre para temas de terapia con animales y demás que le gusta mucho a los chicos, en temas de marketing, en temas de artes, de teatro. Y siempre las actividades se abren bajo el interés de los estudiantes. Hay veces abren actividades y no hay estudiantes que se inscriban, lo cual pues también está bien. Lo que quieren es que aquellos intereses donde haya un marcado interés de los estudiantes se puedan abrir esas actividades a lo largo del año. Y ahora sí, vamos a ver el video.
Okay, I think we can now, Jennifer, is anything you want to share with us? But we can open now for anybody has any questions. Se alguém tem alguma pergunta, gostaria de saber mais alguma informação da Marquette, por favor, coloque no chat. Liliana, if you want to ask in Spanish as well.
Queremos dar una cordial bienvenida a nuestros entes de nuestros países latinos, también de habla hispana, que por favor puedan abrir sus micrófonos, compartir su pregunta o escribirla en el chat. Jennifer estará muy gustosa de dar respuesta.
I have two questions actually. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
How how are how does it work for break? Do
Um,
students have to leave accommodation? Can they stay? Is there an extra cost?
Thanksgiving break, which is we get the whole week off, the dorm stays open, the kids stay. Um, Christmas, we have 2 weeks, and spring break, we have 2 weeks. The dorm is closed. If they're not traveling home or let's say meeting family somewhere, then I usually will find them a host family that they can stay with, and there's no additional cost.
Great, thank you. And I
You bet.
also have a question about meals. How does it
Mhm.
work?
So so during the school day, breakfast and dinner are included in their program. If they want lunch at school, there is an additional charge for that, and they pay for that, and then they will be given a lunch card. On the weekends, all of their meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks are always out, and that's part of their program. It's just lunch
Thank
at
you.
school it gets tricky.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Jennifer, we have here one more question regarding the arrival. If you
Okay.
can give a little bit more details, how is the first days of international students? How is the arrival on the first week?
So the first week, if let's say we're going to talk August, because that's very different than when they come in January. So usually in August, I have them come a couple of days before school starts. And that's when, we get them settled in their room. We, take them to the store, get them things that they, need for their room. Um, there's testing, there's assessments that they need to take once they arrive. We take a language assessment and a math assessment. And then once those are scored, then they meet with their academic advisor and they do their course selection. Um, Usually, I try to have their uniforms here for them before they arrive. But sometimes they don't make it here because, another thing that gets tricky. Um, you know, um, Everyone's ordering their uniforms at the beginning of the year. So those, do my best to have those here. Um, and then, we're full force, they're going to class, they're joining their sports, they're, figuring it all out, and we're here to support them. Um, I fully recommend for um, parents to send things before their arrival. So, like, let's say they're bedding, any personal items. Parents are encouraged to have them shipped directly to the mansion. Like, for example, their bedding. Why would they want to travel with that? And sometimes kids arrive late and then, like late in the day, and then they don't have any bedding on their bed. So that's a really great, thing to have sent beforehand. Um, but yeah, the beginning is just getting settled, their assessments, their, course selection. Um, yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm going to translate. We have here Luis and Carol, their father of Miguel. So they asked me to translate your first couple answers.
Okay, no problem.
Então, em relação às perguntas, né, do break, então ela respondeu que eles têm o recesso entre Natal e Ano, desculpa, o Thanksgiving, que é uma semana, a escola fecha, mas eles ficam na acomodação. Para quem vai fazer um ano letivo, a escola também fecha no recesso entre Natal e Ano Novo. Muitos estudantes acabam retornando para o país, para o Brasil ou outro país, ou os pais vêm para os Estados Unidos. Os estudantes que não quiserem voltar para casa, ela tenta achar uma uma família da escola, né, que possa receber o estudante durante essas semanas sem custo adicional. Em relação às refeições, ela mencionou que o café da manhã e o jantar é feito na casa, né, na mansão, e o lanche é feito na escola, tá? Falando também da chegada, que ela mencionou aqui que na chegada, quando eles chegam, eles fazem um teste, né, de inglês e matemáticas, eles se encontram com o coordenador deles e eles fazem a seleção de matérias, os esportes, as atividades que eles vão fazer na escola, e ela sugeriu muito que os pais mandem entregar, vamos dizer, as roupas de cama, as roupas de banho, antes do estudante chegar. Então, é uma recomendação dela e ela mencionou que, em geral, também ela faz o possível para os uniformes estarem aqui quando os estudantes chegarem. Mais alguma
One
pergunta?
question.
Any other
Yeah,
questions?
another Marquette, uh, Jennifer, could you please provide a bit more information on sports scholarships mentioned in the slides? How easy are they to obtain? Are there any specific requirements? And do high performance sports involve any extra fees?
You know what, Liliana, I'm sorry, but you were kind of going in and out, and I was not able to hear your questions completely.
Sorry about that, Jennifer.
No, that's okay.
I'm asking about the sports scholarships shown in the slides. How easy are they to obtain, and are there any specific requirements?
What do you
And
mean, what do you mean scholarships?
there was something mentioned in the slides about scholarships at universities for
Oh,
for
like at
those
the net.
students practicing some sport.
Sure. I mean, a college scholarship for athletics is very hard to obtain even for a local student. You have to be like in the top 2% in performance, um, to be considered for a college level team. Have we had students go? Absolutely. I mean, we just had 3 girls sign to play college basketball, so it's not impossible. But it's not easy.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah.
And all the sports are included in the tuition, or sometimes if performance sports involve any extra fees?
No, there are no extra fees for athletics. And I will say all of our sports teams are inclusive. So we don't have tryouts. If someone wants to be on the team, they're on the team. So,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you very much, Jennifer.
You bet.
Any other question? Any other information? Well, we want to say thank you again for Jennifer to taking the time and explain Marquette, our beloved school, to the Brazilians and the Latin American agents and families. So if no other questions, we're gonna end the webinar. And we thank you again for everybody joining us, and happy holidays.
Well, thank you all for, 3W for hosting, and I appreciate it. I love talking about Marquette. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. It was a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you so much for everybody, and obrigada pela sua informação.